Welcome back to 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life. Today's topic, what you name your circumstance determines your outlook. And today I have a special guest, my own chiropractor, Dr. Paul. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, my brother? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I can't complain.
Yes, sir.
I can't complain.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming out. And one thing that fascinates me the most is, being good at your craft and being good at what you do. And as you being my chiropractor now for a few years, I started getting the adjustments more than a few years back, and then the doctor that I was using at the time, he retired. And boy, I was on a mission trying to find the perfect candidate. Not talking about other chiropractors or anything, but I've been to chiropractors and I'm like, yeah, nah, doc. my hip's still out of alignment. I'm leaving with worse pain than when I came in, bro. We got to get this right. And I went to the chiropractors and they have a machine. So, the machine aligns you. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, we about to find out. Because when that mid back is out of alignment or that neck, right. And so I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you for being really good at what you do.
Thank you, sir.
We'd like to hear about your story. Mm-hmm. What got you into being a healer, being a chiropractor, becoming Dr. Paul? You went from being Paul to Dr. Paul.
Yeah.
Tell us about your story.
Well, I grew up in a city called Waterbury, Connecticut. I was a basketball player my whole life.
Okay.
So I was always into sports. I played football. I played basketball. So being an athlete was always like my thing. When I was young in college, I got into a near-death car accident. The car accident, I would say, it was like the climax or the pinnacle of my life, where everything changed that day after. In this car accident, I got hit by like an 18-wheel truck. I flew through the window. I was immediately rushed to the emergency room. They always say, like, when you are about to go, you go to the pearly gates, right? I personally felt like I saw that. So, like, me being here today and hanging out with you, I know that I'm blessed to be in this position.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So, when I went to the hospital, the doc told me there's a potential I'll never be able to walk again. I couldn't accept that, because I knew the limitations sometimes medical providers tell people, and they just live with it. They say, okay, well, that's what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. I decided not to do that. And I remember telling the doc at the hospital, saying, like, nah, doc, I can't accept that. And him looking at me just like with the utmost, just like, what is he talking about? The potential of you walking again is not being able to walk again is very high. And I just couldn't accept it. So I left with a journey of like, everything's gonna be okay. My confidence was high, but on the inside I was crumbling, because my identity was being an athlete, being smooth, being cool. Mm-hmm. And here I am, like, in a walker and not able to walk. My hip was shattered in 13 different places. I broke my femur. It wasn't until I went to a chiropractor. I went to the chiropractor, and it was the first doctor that said, I can help you. Whether or not if it was true or not, the words, I can help you, mm-hmm. in that moment, I started to break out in tears, understanding that there was hope for me. When I realized that there was hope, I magically started to feel better, because the inside of me, someone else gave me the confidence that I could actually do better from this. So the chiropractor, he was very unique. He did a lot of neurology stuff on me. He obviously adjusted me. He changed my nutrition. So I was really healing deeply from the inside out. So within like 5 months of seeing him, I started walking again. And then after that, I was getting into a sprint. And now I can pretty much do everything like I was prior before. But if I didn't take that leap and understand that there's more out there than what people are telling me, I wouldn't be the chiropractor I am today. And this particular chiropractor was the reason. I went to him after. I would go to his office and I would see people just happy, right? It was different than going to the medical. The medical, people were in agony and pain, and that's fine. We need that. But at the chiro office, people were happy. He was happy. And I'm there just observing. I'm like, every day, he's smiling. People love him. He's hugging them, and he's changing people's lives and giving them hope. From that day, I went to the doc. I said, "What I got to do?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "What I got to do to be like you?"
Oh man.
And then he told me, he said, "Listen, I wouldn't go to any school unless this is a school in California." At this time, I was living in Connecticut. I packed my stuff up. I graduated and moved across country and moved to California because he said so.
Man, that's such a blessing, and it ties in with today's topic. And I never heard this part of your story.
Yeah.
I know you as a healer, as a chiropractor, and to hear this, it just goes to show that your outlook, good, bad, or indifferent, your outlook determines your next steps in life and where you go in life. And because all odds can be against you, it doesn't matter whether it's medically, through a car accident, or maybe got in trouble or something in law, or a bad breakup or relationship, or you just was born to a family that wasn't productive and you just didn't see any way out because you maybe grew up in a less fortunate situation. And that outlook's always determined. That's why legends become born, because they want more. They're not happy with just, oh, I made it in the sports world, or I made it now, I don't have to do anything else. That's farther from the truth than anything. It's like you have to have that outlook on, okay, what's the next step? Okay, I started a business. Okay, it's just a title. What do I have to do to produce and keep customers year in, year out, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, and as time goes along? And it's the outlook. When you have employees and you have customers, you're not going to get a 100 every time. And so some of them are going to really push you to the brink, whether it's the employee or a customer. They're going to have choice words, and you have to do it with that Chuck E. Cheese smile I often says. And because of the outlook, like I already know the end circumstance, hey, I'm going to win regardless of what happens, but how do I get through now? And that's the parts of the puzzles that we can't see. We know we're going somewhere. We know we're going to a good place, and we believe in being successful at every end of it. It's everything in between. How do just maintaining that mental positive attitude and outlook. That if your outlook says, hey, you're going to be millions of miles from where you started from, then you're good. There's hope. Like you saw, like the hope was there. Like you were speaking it, you professed it with your mouth, and then when your mentor said those words, I can help you. And at the time he wasn't even your mentor. It just it woke up those healing prosperities inside of you. Man, that's so. How long have you been a chiropractor?
I went to chiropractic school in 2011, graduated 2014. So yeah, almost 10 years in the game. It feels like 10 years for sure, because like I always say chiropractic is like dog years, because it's a lot on your body and it's a lot on your mental, because every day I'm coming in, I'm connecting at a deep level with every patient that comes in. I figure out what they like, how they like to be talked to. I figure out like there are certain mannerisms so I can really deeply connect with them. So it does get exhausting, and that's why I say, I meet a chiropractor who's 30 years in. I look at him, he looks at me, and I'm just like, dude, respect. You know what I mean?
That's such a blessing. So what brought you to Florida?
Yeah. This is also another deep story. I really like this story, but I was in California. I was practicing in California, and I went to sleep, and I had a dream. And the dream was I was in Tampa, Florida. And it was very unique because I went to Tampa for spring break while I was in college. I didn't really have much of a connection to Tampa, besides that. But I had this dream, and I was literally in Tampa, Florida. Okay, so I wake up that day. I was like, oh, that was strange. So I go to bed that same night, have the same exact dream that I was in Tampa, Florida. I woke up and I said, is this God telling me something? There's somewhere I need to be? Got rid of my business, sold my business, packed my car up, and moved across the country and came to Tampa, Florida. Didn't know a soul.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What's your, so how did you meet? How did you end up at the
The
office
establishment, yeah.
where you're at now?
I'm really Carl Conforti is like one of my biggest mentors. People always say success leaves clues. So I always like to be around people that have achieved success that I'm looking to achieve.
Yes.
Carl, for me, Dr. Carl is someone who really lives what he does. Like, he talks the talk, he also lives what he does. But also, it was really interesting. I was at his 50th birthday, and every person was going up there and giving a speech about him and how much he changed their life financially. Right? There's like this person. And to me, that's someone that you want to be around. Like, people talk about successful people. You know what a real, true successful person is? When they have it, and all they want to do is give game to other people to get it. For me, Carl was the first big dog I ever met that really had it like that. And to be around that every day, it really inspired me to start to really build myself. I remember he told me, he was like, yeah, you could be a millionaire. And no one ever told that to me before. And then things started cutting out in that direction. Like, but if you don't have those people that believe in you, that have it, it's hard to foresee it, because like, you can see it in yourself, but until you see it in people who have it, they say, oh man, you got everything that it takes. It really changes your mentality around it.
Absolutely. It's like you, there's an old saying that says birds of a feather flock together.
Yes, sir.
And you have to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, or where you're trying to go. You set those goals. Like I mentioned it before on the show. I have a lot of mentors that I haven't even met because I just follow them.
Yep.
Like the Michael Jordans or the Oprahs. Those are the big names that people know, but they don't know Earl Nightingale or Dr. Wayne Dyer. Those are some of my home run hitters that I'm constantly listening to their memoirs and their material from the early 1900s that's still relevant today. Because it's common sense stuff. It's like it's the stuff that the things that are free we don't value. But the things that cost we go all in on, and it really leads to nowhere, because it's like a chainsaw. A chainsaw is no good if I don't have a tree to cut down. The trucks that we use in the tree industry is worthless to you or anybody else, because it's not what you do. And so it's sometimes it's not the material things, knowing how to use it. So sometimes we talk about, our businesses and people, our crafts, and the thing that I try to tell people is on this show, whether it's on the show or people that I mentor with, my kids, family, and friends, sometimes we forget about the basics. I'm sitting listening, and I'm hearing your story. And so I'm going to ask this a question, it's a rhetorical question. It's like, you mean you didn't show up at the chiropractor office and they gave you a job and you just started as a chiropractor working on people? So it doesn't work that way, you had to start at the basics. You got the information and you moved from Connecticut to California to get that basic training. And now you're here in Florida, because you didn't just become a chiropractor. You became educated, and you continued education, because from my understanding, you traveled to other countries to teach other people. Tell us about that.
So a big mentor, as you talked about before, like distant mentor, is Kobe Bryant. Everyone who knows me in my samurai program or knows me in life knows I have a deep obsession with Kobe. And Kobe would always talk about that it's the basic things that you do every single day that lead to the actual greatness. A lot of people jump ship to learn more complicated things, but still don't have the basics down. Right? So I see it like that. Kobe made this example one time. He talked about he had all these reporters to come watch him at him practice. And people thought they were going to see him do 360 dunks. They're going to see him do all this stuff. And all he would do was jab step right, pull up. Jab step left, pull up. And the reporter comes to him at the end and says, like, Kobe, like, you look like you were doing the basic stuff. Like, it didn't look like complicated. And he goes, that's why I'm the best. Because I never get sick of the basics. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about the basics, it's like, I pride myself on routine. Every single day, I do the same exact thing every single day, because if my routine gets stronger and stronger, my days are only going to get better and better.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Yes.
when it comes to the craft of what I do, it's chiropractic is athletic. Like, don't let these people tell you it's any different. It's an athletic move that I'm doing on you when I put you on your side, or I'm moving, doing quick movements. So I have to train my body, right, to be in the right position, to be strong enough in these positions
Yes.
to go ahead and do what I need to do. A textbook is not going to teach me that.
Absolutely.
Muscle memory is only going to teach me that. So I train my body like a professional athlete to do chiropractic, right? So it's not like when people come in and they're like, well, man, my other chiropractor didn't do that. It's because we train different. Just like anyone else. Like, there's people that go to the Olympics. There's people that play high school ball. There's people that play college ball. There's an array of different skill level, right?
Yes.
For me, I operate in Mamba mentality in everything that I do. So if I'm going to be a chiropractor, I'm going to be the best damn chiropractor there possibly is.
Absolutely.
Because that's in my blood and veins. And I got that from my father. If you ain't going to do it the best, then don't do it.
Yep. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So what that opens, that mentality, it opened a lot of people saying, I want to adapt that mentality. So I have this company, it's called Samurai Training, where I go all over the world and I teach chiropractors how to become better chiropractors. Not only that, financial literacy. Because you can have all the skill in the world, but if you don't know how to be financially literate and run a business,
Yes.
things get really tough too as well.
Yes, it does.
I've seen some of the best chiropractors that ever live not be chiropractors today because they can't run a business. So there is many things that are in the pot, mixing the stew up together to create like something great. But for me, like you said, you really hit the nail on the head of my principle is the basics.
Yeah.
Any student that's under me knows I talk about this all the time. The same thing. My routine is the same every morning. I wake up, I get my coffee, I go for a walk, I listen to a podcast or something educational, I go into the sauna, I can start my day. That hour and a half, those 2 hours are the greatest part of my day.
Yes.
Because I completed something, right? That I know I'm going to get better from every single day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes, man. It's like having children has not only made me a better person, but as a father, it made me a better business owner because I'm constantly trying to teach, and that's the difference between me and my wife. I'm like, listen, you don't have to be me, but we have to teach them so they know better. I said they're kind of spoiled because they don't have to grow up the way we grew up in single family homes. It's like, hey, I'll watch and I observe, and especially with all my children, I don't want to just point the boys out or the girls out, but I'm gonna use David as an example. It took him longer to learn how to swim than the other ones, and we paid for swimming lessons. My wife didn't get swimming lessons. I didn't get swimming lessons until I was an adult, and so, but David was smart. David didn't go to the deep end when he couldn't swim. Like Michael, no fear. Couldn't swim at all. He'd just jump in the deep end every time, so you had to watch him. But with David, man, he's swimming like a fish now, but it wasn't easy for him. And some people are like that. They have that same mentality. They show up to the pool and want to impress people. Like, you can't swim. Why you finna jump in the deep end?
Right.
We had some family at the house, and they were getting in the pool, and my niece, I said, you can swim? She said, yeah, I can swim. I said, all right. So I turned my back on her. She jumped in the water, and she ain't ever come up. I'm like, what in the world? So we had to bring her up. I'm like, why did you do that? She's like, well, I thought I could swim. And she went right to the bottom.
Right.
And so what happens, you can't jump in the deep end. You can't go to the beach and just jump out there in the ocean when you haven't learned the basic maneuvers of swimming.
Yeah.
And that's what life is, learning the basics. Like those basics are so basic. People, you know, in sports, every now and then you get a phenomenon like quarterback or receiver, and they're pretty good, but they still have to understand those basics at that level. So when people jump in and sometimes they're forced to play before their time, it's like, oh, he should be able to do that. I'm like, why should he? He's still learning. He should give him a chance. And, you know, we can see those people like, man, that person, they're gonna be trouble down the road once they understand the game and it comes to them.
Right.
That's just what life is. If we keep it basic, you have a basic routine, then it's easier to transition to the next level. It's like I remember I used to play Madden all the time. I don't play video games, you know. I got 5 kids. So you know, playing video games for 4 or 5 hours a day. Yeah. But it was easy to hit reset, and then you see the youngsters come in, they want to play on all Madden.
Yeah.
I said, man, I'm going to beat the brakes off of you. Like, this is what are you talking about? I said, man, you got to play at rookie level or something until you understand the concept of this game. Yep. If not, you feel that there's no hope for you. Because you go, how do you do this? How do you do that? Well, if you don't know, I advise you not to sit down and play. We get in chess matches when family comes over. I love playing chess. And they say, oh, that's not. I said, you play my daughter first to see how you do. You don't want to just sit in that chair with me talking about playing. You know, I said, I'm not going to take it easy on you. I said, I'm going to beat you like you stole 7 minutes chess game. Right. Not because I want to do that. It's because I want you to understand if you want to play, let me teach you. Because sometimes you get relatives and friends, no, I can do it. I can do it. I don't need your help. Okay? Yeah. Since I can't teach you, I'm going to just beat you. And then when you're like, what can I do better? Learn the basics. Learn the basics,
that's
man.
Something that's really like lost today is like understanding that you have to lose to learn how to win. You see any great person, it took losing for them to really understand what those basics that they need to work on. The reflection is so big. You kind of talked about that, like, what can I do to get better, right? And people can do something, walk away, and not ask for that feedback. Just because someone's feedback is bad doesn't mean you have to totally soak it in, but it's always good to get feedback. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When I hire new people and I bring them in, we don't do radical like background checks, but we do the basic. Right. They have a license. How long they was on their last job. Just the basic stuff. So when they come in, okay, what experience do they have? Because all experience is not good experience. Right. Are you teachable? That's the cheat code in life. Being teachable. Sure. So you bring them in. I always like basic. Hey, take this bucket. I want you to go around the property and pick up all the litter. And here's what I found. When you got the right people on the bus, it doesn't matter what you ask them to do. And the people that do it without question and do it, like, okay. People like, well, that's something simple. It is and it's not. Because there's a time I asked somebody to do that, and I seen what they was doing. It was for not only waste my time, but there were times, hey, listen, grab the bucket by the handle like this here, and try doing this way, and you step back and just look. So you're not doing this, because everything that I need you to do, you'll see it. It'll reveal itself to you. Right. And the guy got belligerent with me. He goes, that's not how I want to do it. And so no problem. Do it the way you want. Listen, this is taking longer than what it should have taken. Now let's try doing it my way. Snap. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. This is not a good fit. And then you move on. If you can't follow the basic stuff, it becomes challenging in life. And you're going to hit a lot of brick walls. You're going to hit a lot of roads where you don't get along with people because not only you're not teachable, you don't want to learn, but you won't even do the basics that'll help you go to another level in life. 100%. Yeah. So the business side of what you do, so you've already started 2 businesses in one, obviously, because you're a chiropractor and you teach and you speak. Yeah. How has that helped you as an individual where you want to be in your life?
That's a very good question. I'm not gonna lie, it can be challenging at times. It's like having 2 kids. Yes. And which one of them get your attention the most? So that learning how to balance two things that there's some similarities between the two, but there also is a lot of big differences between these two businesses.
Yes.
So learning how to balance my time and being more efficient with my time. I work in the office. I'm there about 23, 24 hours. I need to be focused when I'm there for those 24. It has to be my best 24 hours. I'm big on not wasting time. There's some people that work like a 40-hour week, right? Mm-hmm. And for 30% of that 40-hour week, they're just kind of around lollygagging, not really doing stuff important. Yeah. What I have to do, because I have so many different businesses, I have to cut out the fluff, and the time that I'm doing it has to be intentional.
Yes.
Right? So when I jump to my other business and I cut out the time to prepare for these travel trips, book the hotels, the stay, talk to the representatives that are in these certain states, I need to book out that time and use that time intentional. Now, what I'm big on too, LJ, is that I'm big on scheduling time for me to just kind of joke around.
Yes, absolutely.
I can be very serious, like Kobe Bryant, like very Mamba, and I can be very giggly too. That's just my personality. You see me in the office, I'm making jokes, I'm smiling and stuff like that. I need that time too to develop too. So like, there's business Paul, and then there's Paul, the regular human, and that cup needs to be filled too. So I like to schedule time and create balance in my life, because if I was just all go, I wouldn't love it. And the reason why I love all of it is because I'm able to manage my time really well, to understand that when I'm doing this, I'm going to do it hard. When I'm chilling, I'm going to be chilling hard. Yes. When I'm going to be traveling, I'm going to be traveling hard, right? Yes. When I'm podcasting with my man, I'm going to be podcasting hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Man, that's such a blessing, man. You bring up great attributes and points, because it's like that's that balance. That's the recipe to life, man. You got to take care of you. You got to carve out that time to enjoy life in itself, because if you don't, then what is it all about?
You know, one time I talked to this guy. He was a multi-millionaire, and all he did was work. And he looked back at it, and I really asked, was like, was it fun? He pauses and he says, never thought about that. Imagine your whole life goes by and you never thought anything about your life was fun, or you had a good time to enjoy yourself. I don't want that kind of life, man. I want to look back at my life and say, the whole picture of it, and say, damn, I did it my way. That was fun.
Absolutely, man. and keyword, your way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get family and friends, oh, you should do this, or you should do that.
100%.
Let's go on this trip, let's do that. Like, nah, that don't fit into
what I'm
my
doing.
thing. Like, I don't want to go to, like, I'll tell my wife, on Father's Day, and I appreciate everything she does. Like, she'll go, we're taking you to Topgolf on Father's Day. I was like, great. But that's not what I want to be doing on Father's Day. I want to be relaxed. Let's jump in the pool. I work in the heat all day. Let's go to Topgolf when they get a little cool outside, you know.
Right.
So it's like, but we'll go because that's what was planned. But at the same time, when you carve out time, you're like, okay, if I'm not working for me, because a lot of my time is spent outside, I'm not scheduling anything outside activity-wise, unless if it's in the pool with the kids or something.
Right.
Like, let's schedule some indoor events. Let's go to Disney World. Let's not go to Disney World during the summertime.
That's not what I want to be doing.
That's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of long lines, and Disney World can be fun in itself, but the time of year you go have to really be particular. And man, I want to say happy Labor Day to everybody that's out there. We appreciate their time. I thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure, man. Yes, we got to talk more, man. And again, this was fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, my book will be released here pretty soon. Don't forget to get your copy or pre-register for your copy at ljtucker.com. Again, happy Labor Day. Have a great day.